Convincing Star Trek theory explains why Tom Paris is still a lieutenant after Voyager. When Star Trek Voyager finally made it home to the Alpha Quadrant in 2001's finale Endgame, fans expected one of the crew's first orders of business to be promotions all around. After 7 years lost in the Delta Quadrant, Captain Janeway and her senior officers had faced unimaginable dangers, made first contact with countless new species, and survived impossible odds. Surely the Federation would recognize that service. Yet decades later, based on canon hints and Star Trek Online lore, Tom Paris is still a lieutenant. How could one of Voyager's best pilots, engineers, and heroes have been stuck at the same rank for so long? A new fan theory offers a surprisingly convincing explanation. Paris's lack of promotion isn't a punishment or oversight. It's a deliberate choice tied to his unique relationship with Starfleet, his own personality, and how his arc reflects the idea of redemption in Star Trek. Tom Paris's complicated history with Starfleet. To understand why Paris might still hold the same rank, we have to go back to where he started. Before Voyager, Tom Paris was dishonorably discharged from Starfleet after falsifying reports that led to a shuttle accident. He later joined the Maquis, a terrorist group by Starfleet standards, and was eventually imprisoned. When Janeway recruited him for Voyager, it wasn't out of trust, but necessity. This backstory defines Paris's career. He's always been the black sheep of Starfleet, a gifted pilot whose rebellious streak undermines his potential. When Janeway reinstated him as a lieutenant, it wasn't a full return to grace, but a provisional status. He had to earn his way back into the Federation's good graces, not through political connections or seniority, but through loyalty, skill, and growth. Even by the end of Voyager, his record remained complicated. Despite saving the ship multiple times, most famously in Threshold, even if we'd all rather forget that episode, Paris was still technically serving under an officer who'd once vouched for his parole. He was never fully cleared. He was conditionally redeemed. That detail is crucial to this theory, the career freeze theory. When Voyager returned home, Starfleet would have conducted thorough debriefings for every crew member. For Tom Paris, that likely meant reopening the file on his previous dishonorable discharge. His reinstatement had been approved by Captain Janeway under extraordinary circumstances. Stranded in the Delta Quadrant, far beyond Federation jurisdiction, back in the Alpha Quadrant, that reinstatement might not have automatically translated into a full restoration of status. Instead, it could have been reviewed as a temporary field commission, similar to how Chief O'Brien or Seven of Nine's roles were unique exceptions rather than standard Starfleet pathways. According to this theory, Starfleet Command chose to make Paris's lieutenant rank permanent but capped. He was restored to active duty, but barred from further promotion for a period of time, essentially a career freeze. This would align with how Starfleet handles officers who have violated core ethical standards in the past, but later demonstrated exemplary service. Such a move would serve two purposes. It would honor Paris's contribution aboard Voyager while maintaining accountability for his earlier misconduct. The personal choice layer. Of course, Tom Paris isn't just a rule breaker. He's also a man who found peace in simplicity. By Voyager's end, he wasn't chasing rank anymore. He had B'Elanna Torres, a family, and a sense of belonging he'd never had before. This part of the theory suggests that even after Starfleet lifted the career freeze, assuming they eventually did, Paris chose not to seek promotion. Being a lieutenant meant he could keep flying ships rather than managing departments or commanding crews. For someone who lives for the thrill of the helm and the hum of warp engines, that could have been the ideal life. In short, Tom Paris never wanted to be an admiral. He wanted to be free. This interpretation fits his personality perfectly. Even in the Delta Quadrant, when others were driven by duty or ambition, Paris was motivated by personal redemption and the joy of exploration. He rebuilt shuttlecrafts for fun, created a holodeck program based on 20th century sci-fi serials, and turned Voyager into his own second chance. Why would he give that up to sit behind a desk at Starfleet Command? The unspoken bureaucratic reason. Another, more cynical but equally plausible explanation is Starfleet politics. When Voyager returned, there would have been enormous scrutiny surrounding its unconventional crew, a mix of Starfleet officers, Maquis freedom fighters, ex-Borg, and even holograms. Promoting everyone might have sent the wrong message to the Federation's political establishment. Officers like Tuvok and Chakotay had complicated allegiances. Janeway herself broke the Prime Directive more than once to save her people. In that environment, promoting Paris, an ex-convict, might have been viewed as a controversial move. So, while heroes like Janeway eventually